Today the game is Mound Builders. It's actually my second go at this game. The first time I played, I got a rule wrong, and I don't want to be responsible for people learning the game incorrectly. I know my audience is pretty small, but I still feel that what I do should be correct, at least to the best of my ability. So we're going to delete that old one, and we're going to replace it with this one. We are the nation of Cahokia, right here in the center, and the game is played over two phases. In the first phase, we're going to expand our empire, and we're going to try to take over these green squares. These green squares represent neighboring chiefdoms. For example, this is the neighboring chiefdom of Toltec, and these people have the good mica. So if we conquer them, then we have access to their goods and we can trade it. In the second phase of the game, represented by this larger deck, we have to defend our empire against other warring nations, and later in the game, if we make it that far, the actual Spanish who landed in North America. So I think we'll just jump right in and we'll get playing. What we do each turn is we just draw a card. And on that card, we're interested in the top part. The first thing we're going to look at is the number of action points that we are allotted. If it's a white circle, we simply get that many action points. Simple as that. Later on, there'll be a black circle, and we will explain that when it shows up. The next thing we need to look at is what nation or what warpath is under revolt. In this case, it's the Caddo. So that means that one of the chiefdoms on this Caddo warpath is revolting. We really only need to worry about a revolt if it's in our empire, and we haven't taken this over yet, so as a matter of fact, nothing on this warpath is in our empire, so it is no sense worrying about this revolt at this time. We'll have plenty of opportunity to discuss revolt and see how it impacts play. And finally, the last thing we need to look at is the hostile actions. This is where the other nations might move. Early on in the Hopewell era, when we're expanding our empire, none of the nations are going to have movement on here, so we won't see anything. The only thing that we're going to look for are these triangles. They're either pointing up or they're pointing down. In this case, it's pointing down, so that means the Caddo nation is in decline. We need to remember that this game represents hundreds and hundreds of years, and this just represents that we're in a period where the Caddo nation were in fact in decline. Perhaps illness, or they got their butt kicked in another war. I don't know enough of the history to know, but in this case, it's abstracted that this area is in decline and ripe for the picking for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our two APs and we're going to spend them, and hopefully we'll see enough example throughout the game of all different things that we can do with an AP. We're just going to play and explain stuff as it goes. So I'm going to reduce my APs by 1, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to conquer Toltec here, and try to take advantage of their mica and establish a foothold, expand our empire a little bit. And so the way that we go for conquering this chiefdom is we just roll a die, and what we want to do is we want to roll higher than the number on the square. So in this case, we'd have to roll a 4, 5, or 6. Now, normally we'd have to roll 4, 5, or 6, but remember the Caddo warpath is in decline, so we subtract 1 from the square, not from our roll. So really we just need to roll higher than a 2. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to roll a die. Just so that you know, I've got a couple rules. If the die comes out of the box, it doesn't count. If the die is up on top shelf, it doesn't count. So those are silly little things that I go through because I know that I'm on camera and I don't want to be called a cheater. So we are rolling for higher than a 2, and we failed. So we're going to spend an AP and we're going to try again. And we got it. So what we do is we take peace pipe, and the peace pipe extends out and shows our foothold in this warpath. So we don't have any footholds in the other warpaths. We will when we get these peace pipes out. So that is turn 1. I'm going to pause because I just talked a ton. and I need a drink, so I will be right back. Okay, we are ready for turn 2. One thing that I like to do, and this is totally optional, is I like to keep track of how many APs I've wasted by missing rolls or whatnot. So we missed one roll, so I put that little die on 1, simply because I'm a statistics nerd. Okay, our turn 2, we get 4 action points. I'm going to slide this up to 4. The Ho Chunk, which is the green, the top warpath, is in revolt. We don't have a foothold in there, and they are in ascension. So at this time in history, they are a very powerful nation. In order to take over this chiefdom, I would need to roll a 6, because this 4 would get bumped up 1 to a 5, and I need to roll higher than it. So we're gonna avoid that for now. So actually that means that we've got 4 AP to spend. We don't get any bonuses on all these, and they're all pretty tough. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to do 2 things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to spend 2 AP, and we're going to increase the strength of our palisades. So you can see that there's a little notch cut out of that hexagon there, and it is at 4E right now. That is our defense level, and we'll explain that later on. That costs 2 APs to do. I might do it again, but what I think I'll do is we know that Kato goes in decline a lot, and we want to take advantage of it. So we're going to spend 1, and because this is a circle, then we don't need to roll to take it over. It's uninhabited, unorganized wilderness space, so we just move in for 1 AP. But what that does do is that allows us to discover a neighboring kingdom here. So I'm going to draw out of the cup, and we'll plop that down, and we have hides. And I do have 1 more AP. I don't think I'm going to spend it. We are allowed to save 1. I'm not going to spend it because these are some pretty tough rolls, and we're hoping that later on that this will get reduced to a 2. So that will be the conclusion of turn 2. We didn't waste any APs, so we'll just keep going. I get 4 more per the white circle. This is a misprinted card. I was one of the unlucky ones. Essentially this is Kato. They're both Kato. So Kato is going to go in decline. And actually we have an example of a revolt here. Kato is going to go in revolt. So if I roll a 1, then a chiefdom within my empire, because it would be behind this line, is revolting. So we're going to roll, and we're going to hope to not roll a 1. And we rolled a 2. Okay, this wilderness, they never revolt. Even though it is in my empire, rolling a circle value doesn't hurt. And later on, it won't help either. So that is a neutral event. So we're ready to go. We're ready to spend our APs. I'm going to take advantage of this warpath being in decline, and we're going to try to roll higher than a 2. And here's the rule that I got wrong last time, is because I've established a peace pipe on this warpath, it's called a busk, and I get to roll 2 dice. So we're going to try to roll higher than a 2 with 2 dice, and we got it. So this advances, and we're going to discover the next one. And I think what we're going to do is we might just keep marching up this line. So there's only 2 of these. This is the one that I'm going to want to mound. So we're going to go for it. We're going to spend, oh, we forgot to spend 1. We spent this 1 to take this 1, and now we're going to spend 1 to roll at this guy. We need to roll higher than a 2. We get 2 dice because we have a peace pipe established on the line. And I got it. So this peace pipe advances, and we discover this next one. And I'm just digging in here. I know it's loud. I watched the last video and I realized that was loud, and it bugged me a little bit, so I apologize for that. Okay, I think the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to mound this Chalcedony chiefdom. They're going to build up their defenses a little bit. So to mound a kingdom, what we do, or a chiefdom, is we pay the price on the square, but the declination of the warpath goes towards that as well. So to mound this chiefdom, it'll cost us 2. So I'm going to spend 2, and we simply flip it over, and that guy's considered mounded. That has lots of benefits that we will explain later on. I get one more. I think I'm going to save it because I don't necessarily want to take a shot at one of these. I hate it when there's a 4 here because this is a hard one to get established on because they're in ascension a lot. But anyway, that is the end of turn 3 maybe. I will pause at this point, take a little mini break, and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. We're back. Turn 4, perhaps. We'll stop saying that because I'll lose track. Per this card, I get 3 more AP. Takes me up to 4. The green line is in Ascension and Revolt. So again, that's why this is a hard one to get into because I think there's 3 green cards in Ascension now. We're going to want to punch up there sooner or later. I don't know. We're going to have to spend some, but this will not be the turn. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have to start taking a risk on some rolls. We're going to roll at this pipestone. So we're going to spend 1, and I need to roll higher than a 3, so we're looking for a 4, 5, or 6. We get 1 die. And we got it. That was pretty lucky. Okay, so we have established a foothold in this space, and since it's a square adjacent, we get to discover that kingdom. And we got some hides, and now we're going to roll at this one. We get 2 dice because we've established peace pipe on the path. We just need to roll higher than a 2, and we got it. And we're going to discover the next chiefdom. Okay, we're doing great. I'm a little worried about those 4s. I think we're going to spend 2, and we're either going to palisade or we're going to establish these hides. I think we're going to establish these hides. Okay. So that is the conclusion of the turn. Let's just motor forward. We have 4 APs. The Kato are in decline, and we have a blue line revolt. So if we roll a 1, it's within our empire, and if we roll a 2, it's within our empire. So we don't want to see a 1 or a 2. And we rolled a 3. So we're okay because the 3 is outside of our empire. The revolt doesn't affect us. I do think it might be time to go for this. So we've got 4 AP. Maybe we'll get lucky right away. So we're going to spend 1, and we need to roll a 5 or a 6. We failed. This is the hard part. We're going to go for it again. No, 1 more. 3. This is my last one. 4. We failed. So we just blew 4 AP. That really sucks. So we have wasted 5. So 3 AP. The Notches are going to revolt. That doesn't affect us because we're not here yet. And the gray, or the Notches, is in decline. So this is the turn that we will try to shoot into this chiefdom. I'm going to spend 1. We need to roll higher than a 3. And we got that one. Which means we discover this next one. My favorite one. It's on a warpath that I don't like. That I don't like it to be on because those are they're a 2. I prefer it to be on a 3, or it's great when it's on a 4. I got 2 left. We're going to try to take those feathers. So we get a busk action, so we're going to roll higher than a 1. And we got it. So the peace pipe moves forward. We run into a circle. We can't discover it. Excuse me. We can move in for free. Or what we can do is we can get a discounted price to mound up those feathers, and I think that's what we'll do. Okay, we got 4 or so turns left, so we'll keep going. Natchez Revolt. So the Natchez Revolt, this is this one. We roll a 1 or a 2, it's within our empire, so we will roll a 4, we're okay. And the Shawnee, the blue line, is in decline. We might be interested in this. I do think that we're going to start going for these feathers again. So we're going to go for those feathers up top. I need a 5 or a 6. 1. And we got 3 APs. This is my second one. Okay, that was my second one. So miss, hit. We have established a line here. And let's hope we discover a 2 up here. And it is a 2, but it's hides. We got a ton of hides on the board. We're gonna busk for this 2 because we don't want to run into a revolt and then have to do that again. So we're gonna roll at this 2 up here. We need higher than a 2 because they are not in decline. So we got that. So this moves forward, and we're gonna put on another 2 Chalcedony. We have mounded Chalcedony here. Okay, I'm gonna keep cranking. I got 3 turns left. Okay, this is kind of scary because here is that green line. It's just the 3rd one, so there's no more of these. The Ho-Chunk Revolt. If we roll a 1, that's pretty unlucky, but it won't kill us. So let's see what we do. We rolled a 5. We are well out of our empire, so we are ready to spend our 2 AP. Gosh, these Cherokee haven't done squat. I think. Gosh, it's a 4. It's painful. This is going to be a 2. Yeah. We need to mound this one. So we're going to save 1. And these are no longer in decline. We're going to save 1. And Cherokee got to go in decline next turn. Let's just... This is rolling a 3, rolling a 4, a freebie. Maybe we go after this. I think we'll go this way, and we'll discover the next one. That was 1, and we're going to save 1 because we're going to mound. We're going to try to mound those feathers that cost 4. Okay, so we got 2 more turns. Come on, Cherokee. There we go. That's what we wanted. I only get 2 AP. Excuse me. Cherokee Revolt. We are not in the Cherokee line, but they do go in decline. So this is our shot. So this is our shot into here, and we need to roll higher than a 3, and we got a couple shots at it. So we're going to spend 1, and we're established. We've got 2 left. We're going to spend 1 to move this forward. Gosh, all these 4s, it's just killing me. We're going to say, shoot. These guys come in attacking at a 2, so they're easy to push back. Mounded, mounded, mounded. I think we really need to mound this. So we're going to save it, and we're going to hope that this last card has 3 on it. If it doesn't, I don't know what we're going to do. But that's the game. So we're all done. We're going into our last turn of the Hopewell era. Oh, crap. So the Caddo are going to revolt. So this line here, a 1 and a 3 is bad. We rolled a 4. That's okay because there's a green Birdman on there, and the green Birdman quelled the revolt. So we've got 2 AP. The Caddo are in decline. Shoot, this is not a very good start, I think what we're going to have to do, we're going to save one, because we can still mound those feathers. Let's think about the hostile nations. The hostile nations are, these are 2s. They're hostile, but they're easy to push back. These guys are a 3. We've got pretty good defense, and they got a long way to go. I think the Shawnee are what scare me right now. This scares me, but actually this is more guaranteed. Let's buscat these. So we're going to spend 1, and we're going to roll 2 at that 2 up top. And we got it. And this gets discovered. And we got one more that I think I'll put in my pocket. So that is the end of the Hopewell era. Oh my gosh, I didn't have the little thing out. Sorry. It's not too big of a deal. So we're going to talk about ending the Hopewell era by counting up our trade goods, and then beginning the Mississippian era, and then we'll cut this and we'll make part 2. Okay, so the first thing we do at the end of the Hopewell era is we need to establish our trade goods. So what I like to do, I'm going to remember that I saved one, is I just go in order and I move this along. So hides. The first good type is hides, and the way that you have a good is by having 2 squares on the board or 1 mounded square, and I see that I have a mounded hides right here. So we have hides. Now we might lose it later. The next one is chert. I see 1 here and 1 here. Now these are both at risk of being dismissed. We need to keep that in our mind. So we're at 2. Next one is copper. I don't think I even drew a copper. I did, but it's not mounded and there's only 1, so I don't have copper. Next one is mica. I'm pretty sure we have mica. Oh my gosh, we don't. We have 1, but it's not mounded. Okay. The next one is chalcedony. We mounded that one. Pipestone. I see 1. There's only 2 of these. Goodness gracious, we're in trouble. And we have 3 whole trade goods. Whew, that's bad. Okay. And the last thing we do is we put on our warring nations. So this is the Shawnee Nation. They are going to start at the edge of the empire. So the further you expand out, the farther away these guys are. But we got a long way to play. There's no throwing in the towel quite yet. And the Great Sun is available. We'll talk about what he does, and we do have to remove peace pipes for any warpath that doesn't have a mound on it. They're not gone, but they're hard to get back. It's pricey. So I think that's it. We'll conclude playthrough video 1 here, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to stop it and then restart with video 2. I'll be right back.